Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic day. For those of you who don't celebrate Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. And for those of you who don't celebrate really any of those, then hope you're just having a good day in general. But dang, it's really windy right now. I'm sure you can hear that in the background. I live in the Midwest, and I'm right in the path of that crazy winter storm. Honestly, everybody in the U.S. is right now. But yeah, you're going to be hearing wind throughout this video. I apologize, not the best audio, but you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, it is Christmas, so I thought I would do a Christmas movie review. I was planning on doing a whole 12 days of Christmas movie reviews, but with the releases of, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, and Avatar 2, The Way of Water, I really couldn't fit that within the schedule. Sure, I could have probably posted 2 reviews in the same day, but I don't typically like to have videos competing with each other more than they already do. But yeah, as for this review here, I am going to be reviewing the holiday classic, and you've already seen the thumbnail, seen the title, you know what it is. It's 1988's Die Hard. And this film is about a New York police officer who tries to save his estranged wife and several others taken hostage by terrorists during a Christmas party at the Nakatomi Plaza in Los Angeles. Very iconic film, and also sparks the debate, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And after watching for the first time, I might say, I have to say it's not really a Christmas movie in my opinion. Sure, they might have some, Christmas decorations. They might play some Christmas music. People might be humming Christmas songs, might be talking about Christmas, but when it really comes down to it, does it get me in the Christmas spirit? No. And that's really how I judge a film being a Christmas film or not being a Christmas film. So is this a movie I'm going to be rewatching every year on Christmas? No, probably not. I mean, could I watch it in the future around Christmas time? I'm sure I could. But is it something I'm going to be rushing back to watch every year around this time? No. Now, is it a film that I liked? Yes, it is. It's a film that I very much liked. I knew I would like it, but I mean, I didn't know how much fun I would have with it. It's kind of weird with me because not having seen this movie and growing up in a time where, when I was younger, I watched Paul Blart Mall Cop, which kind of has a similar plot to Die Hard, and then most recently with Violent Night, that has been heavily compared to Die Hard. And after watching Die Hard, I see a lot of those influences, and with, some aspects, maybe it feels like a direct ripoff, but with Violent Night in particular, I feel like that's, it takes what Die Hard did and puts the Santa spin on it, and I really like that. Honestly, one of my favorite movies of the year. So, spoiler alert for my top 10 favorite movies of 2022 list, but that will most likely be on it. But yeah, this film is directed by John McTiernan, screenplay by Jeb Stuart and Stephen E. D'Souza, and based on the novel by Roderick Thorpe. Some people might not know this, but yeah, it is based on a novel, so didn't really know that going into it, and that's interesting to know going out of it, I guess. But yeah, it stars Bruce Willis, of course, as John McClane, which unfortunately we might not see Bruce Willis in another role again because I forget exactly what illness it is he has, but it's not going to be easy for him to come back to acting, much like I'm blanking on his name right now. Shoot, Val Kilmer. We saw him most recently in Top Gun Maverick, but that'll most likely be his last role. And it's just unfortunate, but at the same time, we have these movies, to remember them when they were in their prime, I guess I could say. Not to sound mean spirited, I guess, but yeah, Bruce Willis as John McClane in here is fantastic. He is the hero. He's cocky, but at the same time, you gotta love him because he has so much charisma and so much heart, and also just so much what's the word I'm looking for? Confidence. There you go. He's a very confident guy, going up against these terrorists, and in a normal situation, people probably wouldn't be confident. But this guy goes in guns blazing. He's smart about his tactical moves. And with a movie like this, it's going to be hard for me to not talk about the influence that this movie has on other films that have come out since. And, with this film here, I even kind of see some influences that, maybe John Wick took from it. There's a lot of films like this that have come out since. but this is kind of the first film of this nature to really come out at the time, at least from what I know of. Maybe there's some, some similar movies like this, maybe like Rambo or something like that. But I don't think those quite have the comedy aspect that this film really has. It doesn't quite have that hook, that comedic hook that this film has. That those films, having not seen them, I don't think they have, but I could be wrong. Um, but yeah, also got to mention in here Alan Rickman, late great Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber, the villain of the film, main villain, I should say. And he is a force to be reckoned with for sure. He's intimidating. He come on, he's Severus Snape. Of course, he's intimidating. He's a fantastic villain in here. He's conniving and honestly everything you want in a villain. Now, I will say this, I'm not going to tell you what their motives are because, that's kind of a big spoiler for the movie, what they're actually going after. But by the time it gets revealed, it was just a little anticlimactic for me. It's something I feel like they maybe probably shouldn't have left as a reveal for later on because it really wasn't that big of a reveal to me personally. Um, but I don't know, that's just me. But yeah, Alan Rickman as a villain in here, I think is fantastic. He's a fantastic actor in general, and it seems like he had a lot of fun with this very conniving character, in this role of just seeing him go mad over time of about John McClane just taking out his guys and just like being furious about it, but at the same time being so intrigued by him and wanting to know more and why he's doing what he's doing. So very, very interesting villain there, even though the motives for why he's doing what he's doing is kind of eh. But yeah, we also have Bonnie Bedelia as Holly Gennaro McClane, the estranged wife of John McClane, which honestly we see a decent amount from, but like isn't really the one we have a whole lot of focus on. She's good for the role that she has to play in here, but they don't give her anything like too crazy to do, honestly, really. But we also have Reginald VelJohnson as Sergeant Al Powell. He was the first one on the scene when shit started going down at Nakatomi Plaza, and this guy is fantastic in this film. I'm pretty sure I've seen this guy in a lot of other stuff. I just can't name anything at the moment, but he was really fun. He kind of reminded me of shoot, and I'm blanking on this guy's name, but the guy from Predator 2. Um, yeah. Sorry, I have a bit of a cough right now. I just need to get this out. Much better. Also, my glasses fogged up for a second. But I can't remember the name of that actor. You'll have to let me know down in the comments. I'm sure you guys knew who I'm talking about. But the guy from Predator 2, he was the main lead of that film. Reginald VelJohnson in this film kind of gave me vibes of that guy while kind of being a little bit more of a side character. But nevertheless, I think he was great in here. I think that's pretty much the main cast I will mention here. That's the main cast that's really important. But yeah, overall, a really good cast, I would say. Everybody does a really good job with what they're given. I don't think there's a single actor in here that does a bad job. There is one actor in here, and no offense to the way the actor looks, or at least for how the actor looked at the time. Maybe it's just the costume that they gave him, the wig or whatever. This dude straight up looked like Jeffrey Dahmer. I was just like, okay, that throws me off. We have Jeffrey Dahmer, with a kind of either German or Russian accent going after John McClane. Okay, never thought I would see this. And even at times, it kind of looked like that one guy from Disney Channel who played him, but like much taller and bigger. I was just like, wait, what? What is he doing in this movie? I didn't know he did acting. But yeah, let me see here. Yeah, I gotta mention this, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, one of the few shows I've watched all the way through. Most of the shows I've watched all the way through are sitcoms. That is one of my favorites. And, Andy... Why am I blanking on names tonight? Jeez. Andy Samberg, there we go. His character in there, Jake Peralta, he's obsessed with Die Hard. They have one episode in particular where they actually go to where Nakatomi Plaza is. That's a fun episode. I don't know. They do a lot of like Die Hard stuff in that show, like references to it and whatnot. So it's something I've always heard about, and like even going into it not having watched the movie before, like there's so many iconic lines in here that I already knew going into it, like "Yippee ki yay, motherfucker," and what's the other one? I've heard this one before, but I didn't remember it going into it. But yeah, come out to the coast, get together, we'll have a few laughs. That's when he was like crawling through the vent, which is one of my favorite scenes in there. There's a little subtle moment in there where it's like dark, and they're like, "All right, we need to light this actor's face without it feeling, you know, unnatural because he's in a vent." All right, he pulls out a lighter, and then the light comes on with the lighter, and then it's just like the light comes on so you can see the actor's face, and I'm just like, oh, that's brilliant. Like, there's a lot of small things they do, a lot of small subtle things they do with what little it seems like they were given to actually make this film, because a lot of the set pieces in here, they're fairly simple set pieces. You have a lot of rooms in here where it's just like, kind of scaffolding and just like unfinished, like places where drywall isn't even put up yet, and then there's no paint on the drywall really. It's unfinished stuff, so it's like very simple sets for the most part in a lot of these shots inside the tower. But at the same time, you know, seeing all that, it feels repetitive at times where you're just like, okay, I feel like we're just in the same room, but it just looks slightly different. That's not quite how it feels in here, because in here they change it up enough to really show the scope of this massive tower, and you have him like crawling through the freaking elevator shaft and shit, and it's just like this thing is huge and he's just crawling around this shit. And like, even for the time, they didn't have like great effects, but like, when you see him at the very top of the elevator shaft and you see him looking down, like, even by today's standards, some of that stuff still, kind of irks me a little bit. It freaks me out because I do have a fear of heights, but like, a lot of, not just that in particular, but like a lot of stuff in this movie still works by today's standards, with the action, with, the dialogue, with just a lot of the stuff in here I think really works very well, even by today's standards. Um, but yeah, let me see what other notes I have here. Probably not going to be much longer of a review, because it is Christmas, and people probably aren't going to be watching too many YouTube videos today, but who knows. Yeah, it's a little slow to start, and then it kind of slows down a little bit towards the end. But in between those moments, it's very fast paced. You're rarely ever bored in this movie. It's exciting. You're on the edge of your seats. You're nervous for him because you have literally gunshots like all over the place and explosions, and again, being up really high on the roof and then in elevator shafts and being stuck in very tight vents and shit like that. It's just a lot of stuff to really freak you out. And I don't know, this movie does what it does so well, and is kind of the OG to do what they did. So gotta show a lot of respect for this movie for sure. Is this like one of my favorite movies of all time after watching it? No, I wouldn't really say that. And again, I don't think I said this in the beginning. I'm not sure if I said this in the beginning, but is this a movie I'd rewatch every Christmas? Probably not. But yeah, I mean, this is a movie I do respect at the end of the day, because it's a movie that has a lot of firsts for this style of movies, and a lot of movies and shows especially too have not, I wouldn't say copied. I mean, some of them kind of just blatantly copy it, but some of them have taken a lot of inspiration from it, and you can kind of see the inspiration spread out through a lot of different movies and shows. Not just, the ones that are just trying to be Die Hard, but with a different scenario, like Santa Claus, or, a fat mall cop, but like ones like John Wick, like I said before, that has that type of action, the kind of thing where it's just a guy plucking people off one by one, essentially. Like, I love that kind of shit. But yeah, there are a lot of like iconic moments. One more, yeah, I already mentioned Yippee Ki Yay, motherfucker. Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few drinks. And then there's one, welcome to the party. That's when Reginald VelJohnson's character shows up for the first time, and John McClane, like, they kind of steer him away because the bad guys kind of steer him away at first. And then John McClane's like, all right, I got to get this guy's attention. So he like fucking throws a dead body out the window and it just crashes on the cop car. He's like, welcome to the party, pal. So that's the one really big thing in this movie I'll give away. I guess it's not that big of a thing, but like that's mainly the only thing I'll give away about this movie, really, is just that one scene. And I will give no more spoilers because I'm sure there's plenty of people that haven't seen this movie before, and I want to give them the chance to be able to watch that. I would ask you if you're planning on watching this Christmas, but might be a little late for that at this point. But if you are planning on it, still comment that down below. Yeah, really, anything and everything, comment that down below. Wrapping the video up here, I guess. Yeah, sorry, I'm a little tired. It's like almost 3 a.m. here, and I'm just trying to get this review done so I can be ready for Christmas and just kind of take the day off. So sorry about that, but yeah, overall I would give this movie probably a standard ticket and then a standard subscription. You know, if you don't know my tier list, or my ranking system, for movies that are in the theater or like typical movies in general that aren't on streaming, I would go premium ticket, you know, worth the price of admission plus more. Standard ticket, worth the price of admission. Discounted ticket, worth watching if it's on a discounted price, and free ticket, worth watching if it's free. Then the streaming service ranking here, premium subscription makes your subscription cost look like a bargain. Standard subscription, perfect for a streaming service. Basic subscription, perfectly adequate, but not quite what you're paying for. Basic subscription with ads, the type of content, mediocre content that streaming services shell out on the regular. And then the free trial, worth watching if it's free. Highly recommend using as background noise, and then cancel your subscription. So bad you should cancel your subscription. Also consider asking for a refund. Definitely not that bad of a movie. I wouldn't quite give it a premium subscription, but definitely standard subscription. Not quite sure which streaming service this would be on. I have it on my Vudu account. Might be on Hulu. I'm not completely sure. Maybe HBO Max, but you guys would have to check that out for yourselves. But yeah, standard subscription for it being most likely on a streaming service, and for it just being a movie on its own, probably a standard ticket if I were going to see it in the theater. Worth the price of admission. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Have you seen Die Hard 1988? What did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? I definitely had a lot of fun with it. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I obviously wouldn't say I hated it either. Dang, it's getting windy. But yeah, I hope you all had a really great Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, I just hope you had a great day in general. I hope you're all staying safe with this crazy winter weather. For those of you who are experiencing it, which honestly, it's a lot of people right now. So stay safe, stay warm, and don't make any unnecessary trips. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Go spend time with the family. I appreciate you guys for watching. Leave a like on the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload, and I will see you in the next one.